Hey guys, it's Ernesto and welcome back to yet another video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a wonderful day. So today I wanted to bring you guys a Photoshop tutorial. I recently did a promo video for my upcoming workshop on Saturday, July 22nd. Now, when I did this promo, some folks, was asking me how did I do it? Basically, how did I add motion to a static image that I took and also add text to it. So I figured let me do this video so I could show you guys exactly how it was done. It's very easy to do. It's a 4-step process. At least I broke it down into 4 steps. And I'll show you guys exactly how I did it and those 4 steps. Check out this promo video, and after the promo video, we will jump straight into the tutorial. So the first thing I did in order to give this image a little bit of motion is I first have to eliminate the subject completely and just basically get a nice background. What will really help with these types of images is if you have a background that's pretty solid, that is not too busy. It makes it a little bit easier. Obviously this background is a little bit busy, but not too busy because most of the stuff that's in the background is mostly out of focus, is not that bad. Okay, so let's do that first thing, which is basically eliminate the subject from this image and just only have a background. Now, I'm not going to go through the full cutting out of the person here and all that stuff because that probably take too much time. But let's jump into it. So the first thing that I would do here is duplicate the background. So in this particular image, you would just click on the background image and hit Ctrl J, right? You duplicate it, simple like that. Then the next thing I would do here is figure out which part of this image I want to be my background. So I want to basically have the rocks here to be moving and the background to be becoming bigger or smaller or whatever. So the first thing I would do here is isolate the rocks here. Select it, and then I would just go to edit. Right now there's multiple ways you could do this. This is the way that I did it. You could go to edit, fill, right, and then you would choose here content aware fill. Okay, it's not going to do the best job, but it gets you started. Okay, so let's see what it does. I just clicked on it. Obviously it's taking a lot of the sky here and putting it at the bottom. Totally fine. It looks horrible. That's okay. We're going to fix it. So what we're going to do here is now we're going to do, I'm going to press on my S button for the stamp tool. And then all I'm going to do is basically sample and paint. Okay. So that's all I'm going to do. And it's just going to make this terrible copy that we have here better. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but as you can see, this is basically what I'm doing here. I'm just basically cutting out this guy. Now, let me show you guys what the image looks like completely after I did what I did to it. So this was my background that I cut out. As you can see, it's not totally a great job. It's good enough. For what I needed. Basically like this boat here I could get rid of as well, but it's fine. It's fine for what I needed. Okay, so that was the first thing. That's the first step in this process. The very first step is to basically get a solid background. Once you get that, the next step is then to cut out the subject, which is, the main component of this this whole image. So I'm not going to go through that whole process of showing you guys how I went about cutting out this particular person. There's multiple tutorials out there that can show you guys how to cut out people. But that's essentially what I did. I basically cut out the subject. So this is my cutout. Okay, so if I turn off the background image here As you can see, that was my cutout. I cut out the subject and I also cut out the rocks because I wanted the rocks in there. Okay, so this is essentially, it doesn't look like anything changed, but this basically is two separate images now. You have, let me delete these because we don't need these anymore. So this is essentially two separate images. You have your background image and then you have the cutout, okay? Two separate images. All right, so now once you have the two images, the next step is to add motion to it. So to add motion to these two images, all you have to do is go to Window, and then you click Timeline, okay? If you guys are familiar with video editing, that's all this is. You're basically adding keyframes to the timeline, and each keyframe is representing a different size in the image, okay? All right, another thing that I did with these two images that I didn't show on the video is that I converted both of these images into smart objects. Now, you want to convert your images into smart objects because you don't want to lose the quality as you expand these images by making it bigger and smaller, okay? So what we're going to do now here, again, our timeline is at the beginning, right? And what we want to do here is we want to expand this image into a bigger image because that's what I want. I want the subject to appear larger initially, and then I want it to go back to the regular size. Okay, so we're going to expand this. So I'm going to hold down on my shift key, right? Hold down on your shift key, and then you expand the image to whatever, you know, size you want. For me, I just wanted something like that. Okay, so once you are happy with it, you hit enter. Okay, and Photoshop is going to retain that size. Then you go back to your timeline. Okay, and then you go back to your timeline. And on your timeline, what you want to do is add the keyframe to this timeline. Okay, so in order to add the keyframe, you click on this transform, right? So transform now adds a keyframe. So it's going to retain that size. So now you go to the end of the timeline, okay? At the very end. Now you're going to repeat the same exact process. You're going to go back to your image, right? You're going to hit Control or Command T, okay? And now you're going to make the image smaller. You're going to make it back, put it back to its original size. Okay? You know, as close as you can. It doesn't have to be exact, okay? So once you're happy with that, again, you hit the enter key to save it. Okay, so now it's saved it. And if you look at my timeline, you could see that Photoshop automatically added that keyframe at the end of my timeline. And that's what I want. Okay, so if we just play this, right? If I just hit the play button, let me minimize this so you guys could see. So if I just hit the play button, now it's gone a little bit slow, but you could see it's moving, okay? When you render this thing out, or when I render it out, it will be faster. One of the things I could probably do is probably just decrease my timeline. So let's do that. The next step is to work on the background, okay? So if the image is becoming smaller as you go down, okay? If it's becoming smaller as you go down, what you want for the background is you want the background to go in the opposite direction. You don't want the background to be going in the same direction as your subject, because it's not going to look like it's a moving image. It's just not going to look like a 3D image or a 2D image. So we start out with a big subject, okay? So we're going to start out on a regular size for the background, and then we're going to end the background on making it bigger. Make sure the background here is selected, and then you're going to hit Control or Command T rather. Okay. So let me zoom out here so we could see. So what you want, like I said, is the background to become larger at the end. Like I already had it larger, so let me minimize it here so you guys could actually see. Okay, so that's the standard size of the background image. All right, I'm making it a little bit more ridiculous. All right, so hit enter on that. So now if I scrub this image, actually let's add a keyframe here, go back, and then add a keyframe here. But this keyframe has to be on the regular size, okay? And then hit enter. Okay, so now we have that keyframe. So now if I scrub this, let's get Photoshop. Okay, so now if I scrub this, now you could see, let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys could see it. And let me minimize this. So now if I scrub this, now you could see it looks like it's a 3D image. Now you probably don't want to make your background so ridiculously large like how I did it, because you will probably see some of the imperfections in the background. But as you can see now, we have a 3D image, okay? So that is what you would do in order to add the 3D image. So now let me talk to you guys about the text that I added on. Given that I cut out the subject, now it's very easy for me to add text into this image. So one of the things that I added was this header text. So as you can see here, the header text is behind the subject. So now as the image moves, it becomes even more dramatic, the text. So that's it. It's really simple. First thing is make sure that you have a solid background. Second step is to cut out your subject. Third step is to add motion to the two images. And then the fourth step, which is an additional step that I chose to add, is just to add text. So that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this 4-step process on how to add motion to your image as well as adding text to your image. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Share this video with your friends and family if you think it will be helpful to them. And guys, if you got this far in this video and you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.